Welcome to Christa Spiritual Talks. I'm excited to have Robbie Stosh again today. Welcome, Robbie.
Hey, how are you this morning?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah, it's hot out today, so it'll be an interesting day. Um, this morning, earlier when we were talking, you were talking about some inspiration you got when you first woke up. I'd be curious to learn more about it because I think there's a lot to this. You said living with a compassionate heart, the importance on our own energy system so that we can remember who we are.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, it was about 4 o'clock this morning, and I woke up with this knowing or this conversation, I would say with my higher guidance, and I always consider my higher guidance a part of me that is fully connected with Creator, fully connected with that God energy, whatever way you want to call it. And it I had had a couple of days in my own life experience where I was being reminded to have and keep my heart open and have a compassionate heart for all. And it wasn't as spelled out for me. I didn't really understand it fully, but as the interaction became more and more stronger and stronger, I realized how important that was and why the niggle was the last couple of days of the feeling a little bit uncomfortable, feeling the energies of the planet, feeling energies of people that I had been engaged with just in my outside world. And so what it came down to was what I got very clearly was living with a compassionate heart. And as I'm in that state, I'm thinking, what does that mean? I mean, or what does that mean to me, living with a compassionate heart? And I was given the idea and the knowing that, you know, we're all we're all I don't know, spirit in physical form. We're all part of that beautiful one energy that we call creator. All right. And I don't know, you could say we're kind of like the offspring of it. We are that in actionary form. So on this planet. So it was fascinating. The inspiration given was you don't remember who you are. So when you come across people and also yourself in this daily life, in this earthly experience, if you don't remember who you are, you're going to have triggers. You're going to have areas in which you're not comfortable with. You're not completely in trust of that flow. You also begin to understand, as I have a while ago, that we hold an energetic system that basically offers us everything. Our energetic system, our magnetic system that we hold. And I spoke about this last time. So the importance of that is so that you can live in that space of having a compassionate heart. If you run into somebody that is in disagreements or somebody that is living a whole different life experience than you are, it doesn't mean that they're good or they're bad or they're wounded or they're this and all the words we might use, and that you might feel bad for them or you might feel sad for them or you might feel elated for them. But that is, you know, but that is because some of those people that are struggling, they don't they don't know. They don't know who they are. They don't know that they're part of this infinite source and that they have, through working with their own magnetic field and their own body, mind, and spirit, and putting that into actionary form through different practices, Not everyone works for everyone. You know, there are things I don't do and there's things other people don't do. But the whole main gig is to connect up with that power source, that source within oneself, activating all of those centers within yourself and remembering and allowing yourself to be in a way hugged, held, and protected in a way. So I guess the bottom line is living with a compassionate heart is understanding that not everybody remembers or even knows that there's an aspect of them, a non-physical aspect of them that they don't even know exists. They're fully functioning in the physical world as if that's all that there is.
Okay, so you're saying it, but I know I'm not wrapping my head around the whole thing. So I'm just going to kind of repeat a little bit and then we can kind of go from there. So when you're observing somebody and let's say they're saying something and it kind of triggers you, if you think of it from they just don't remember who they are, then it's a kind of a higher perspective so you don't get entangled in all the muck, right? Because that can lower your vibration. And then, but it doesn't mean that you're a doorknob or you would put up with, you're a doormat to walk on. You still have to have boundaries and live here. But it does, as you go through life, because there's so much going on, obviously, around the world right now, that it kind of gives it, for me, I don't know from what you're saying, it gives me a higher perspective. And until people realize who they are, we're not going to live in that higher state. It's like a flower that is growing, but somebody hasn't realized their full potential as a flower. They're more in the stem part. They can't see that, oh, they're growing in. I don't know if that's a good analogy, but
Well, the analogy of
yeah.
the flower is perfect because the flower, everyone, there is not growing into the flower, they are the flower. It's
Mm.
like you hear a lot of people talking about spiritual stuff. I'm a spiritual warrior. No, you are a spiritual being. I am a light warrior. I'm a warrior of the light. No, you are the light. Just as you are already the flower in full bloom, you just haven't realized it yet.
So that's a lot of letting go of any type of resistance or fighting against. You are that. Yeah.
You already are that. Now how do you get to know that? That's the question, and that's the $1,000,000 question. How do you get to know that? Then you have to go internal. Then you have to, everybody, people meditate. They meditate, and that's how I started. I started meditating and I started experiencing lots.
Hmm.
I was already inclined anyway, but this put it on steroids. So when you meditate, when you find breath, when you go into your breath, that's your first part is learning how to breathe, learning how to relax, learning how to dial it down, taking a pause.
Hmm.
And then you move into, okay, now I know about the energy centers, and then start working on those those energy centers like the root chakra, feeling safe and secure in the world, feeling grounded, allowing yourself abundance, to allow yourself the abundance that this world has to offer to you because you are in this world. You are a creator because you are from creation, and so you create through the vibrational system that you hold. Moving into the sacral, that is also what is your relationship with the world that you're in? Not with everyone, but how do you feel about being here
Hmm.
in this physical existence? And going up through the chakras, until you're up at the top, where now you're completely, your crown chakra is open. It is the highway to infinite possibilities. You feel love, you feel your power, you feel your creative expression. Through each of those chakras, they offer something. And when all those chakras are working together as one unit, then that energy that you're putting out into the world just flows. Now, then you're out in your world and you end up, well, you end up being around all kinds of energies,
Mm-hmm.
right? So sorry, I've got a little thing saying that I need to close that. Okay.
Okay.
I don't know if that showed up for you.
It didn't. You're fine.
Okay. So then when you're so you go into the world, you're aligned, you're expanded, you feel great, your landscape is beautiful, and now you are amongst many, many, many other souls that are not as aligned. So they don't see the same things. They don't experience the same things. They're not on the same page as you are. Not that you're on the right page, but this is the page that you're on, and they're not, right? So you run into adversity, you run into feeling sad for this person, or, you know, feeling angry or whatever it is that you might be feeling because you're feeling and experiencing all the energies around you. The key to that is strengthening that vibrational field of yours through your breath, through focusing, through expansion to a point to where, and then also living with the mindset of living with a compassionate heart, knowing that everyone is on their own path, having their own experience. We're bumping into each other. So if you've got a compassionate heart, you understand this is where they're at and it's okay. And you don't have to get on a soapbox and try to change them.
Mhm.
You offer them guidance, maybe higher guidance if someone asks. Of course, if a client comes in to see one of you, or, if you're doing healing work, well, then of course,
Mhm.
you're going to be right there anyway, because you are that energy vortex, that energy runs through you to help another individual in whatever capacity that you do. You see, is that too much information?
No, but I'm just going to reflect it back just to make sure I'm clear because it is a big concept. So, I like the idea because you don't, okay, let's just say somebody comes at you and you're like, why did they say that? And it triggers you. This perspective kind of gives you, so you don't go into judgment. And then it's almost like it just slides right off rather than getting caught up in it, right? Because then energetically you're getting angry or whatever. So you can just compassionately be like, that's where they're at. I don't need to change them. They just don't realize, uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And you don't go with the idea of, well, they're just not awake, or, well, they just don't realize. You go into the, okay, this is where they're at. A compassionate heart isn't trying to change anything.
Hmm.
It's just being available. And so when you talk about those coming to you and that energy sliding off of you, is because your energy is strong enough to be able to be anywhere at any time doing
Hmm.
anything without being triggered.
Right,
And the whole gig is about not being triggered. The whole
right.
gig is balancing your emotional body and with your mind, with your spirit.
No, I think this is a great tool. To me, it's that higher perspective and also being the observer and not, a lot of times you get triggered, then you're like, how could they say that? And your self-righteousness would be like, that's not right. And then you're in judgment. And then pretty soon your mind's going all crazy. And yeah, so this is great.
Yeah, you don't have to be crazy about anything,
Yeah.
because this is just where they're at.
Hmm.
And they haven't remembered who they are. And
Right.
there are times where we forget who we are too, or we're not trusting it fully, and
Right.
we let our ego mind or our emotional body just kind of take over, or we get hurt, or we feel sad, or we feel whatever, we feel pain. There's a lot of people in pain now. They hold pain, but not one of us, I don't know anyone who doesn't have or experience some kind of pain.
Yeah.
But understanding, fully understanding, you are creator in physical form, period. You are positive flow in physical form. And that positive flow, when you're hooked up to that, when you're lined up with that,
Hmm.
through maybe daily practices, you are now you're not triggered.
Hmm.
But when you think about living with a compassionate heart through your day, what happens is that gives you just enough time for you to take a pause. Take a pause. It's like, somebody just splashed water on you and you just take a pause,
Yeah,
right? So that's what that means for me.
right.
And I'll put it to practice. Not often do I run into a situation like that, but there, of course, I'm going to, especially in this atmosphere. It can be, it's, I don't know. There's a lot of no, what do they call line blow ups? What do they call those? Um,
I'm not sure what you're.
yeah. Okay, so there's war, and they got these little bombs in the sand, and you walk on them, and you
Oh,
get blown.
landmines. Yeah.
Landmines. That's what that is. That's what that is. There's lineman. Yeah, that thing. They have those out there.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you didn't see that coming.
Right, right, right.
And so
Yeah.
you like, if you have this compassionate heart, you're not damaged by anything.
Mhm.
It's
No,
not.
I
It's
think
not yours to be had.
it's a great tool, and thank you for sharing it. And on that note, if anybody's listening and either has a question about this subject or in the future would like Robbie to answer a different question, if you can put it in the comments. And then if you find value in what we're talking about, if you could like and subscribe. Um, any other, regarding this subject, any other thing you wanted to share about this subject we've been talking about?
I would say the only thing I would say is just, going through the whole currency thing again. Your currency is the most important currency out there.
I mean, your energetic current.
Yes,
Yeah.
your energetic system is the most important. And so, as I said last time, you go to a gym to build up strength, to build up endurance. When you do your daily practice with aligning yourself, putting your focus on that, keeping your heart open, keeping your ability to hold yourself energetically at a place where you're not bogged down by other people's energies, because half the time people think that it's their pain and it's really the pain of others around you. And that makes you tired, it makes you irritable, and it makes you not wanting to deal with that,
Hmm.
whatever it is that you're dealing with.
Right.
And so that's what's important. Um, so that's the only thing I would have to add is just living with a compassionate heart. Write that down. Make that your make that your mantra for the day. I live with a compassionate heart to
Mhm.
for all anything. Yes, I live with a compassionate heart, but really for yourself.
Right. Right. Holding your own
Starts
energy.
with yourself.
I love these little snippets of wisdom, and I certainly benefit from it. So thank you for sharing it with people. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right. Talk to you later.
All right.